Hello. So today we're going to be looking at. So we're not going to be looking at anything at this moment right now. First, I'm gonna stupid table. I'm gonna be talking about what I want to do with this video and a couple videos. Is that so? A lot of the figures in my collection have been from a lot of different years. So my idea is, and I want to do like a top best, top worst, uh, best, worst, fun, favorite, whatever, all sorts of those top list videos, like ranking, I guess you could say. And all my figures were I got before YouTube, before I started doing this, YouTube, and different years. So I'm going to start out with 3 videos. This is the worst, the top 5 worst figures that I could think of, and then from here on out, from these first 3 videos of like my top, like favorite, top worst, and top best, those 3, those might change, but it's just gonna be my baseline for years to come, and none of these figures will get included again if so I can do like top of 2020, top of 2021, top of 2022, so on and so forth. But this is just going to be my baseline video of favorite, best, and worst. And then from there on out, it's going to be just continuing up the years. Nothing from my pre-existing collection. Back collecting from like past years is included when it comes to that, but overall, this is the start. So I'm gonna do that, but I'm starting with just the figures that I have in my collection at this point in time. So this is the top five worst, and my top favorite and top best will not be won't be 5. It'll probably be like 10 or something. But I just don't really have 10 figures that are truly that bad to me in my collection at this point. Not further forward, but at this point in time, no figures that I truly was disappointed, that are bad. I only have 5 of them. So let's just get into it, I guess. My first one, number 5, is Combiner Wars Brawl. And I wouldn't say I like him. He's definitely the best one out of the ones that I have in the box. And I have a box on the side of me, so I'll be reaching in and grabbing them. And Brawl, I don't really know what to say about him. Obviously, a lot of people, they'll probably say that he's probably the worst figure of Combiner Wars, or whatever, of Combiner Wars, Prime Wars trilogy, mainly Combiner Wars probably, but I don't really know. He's got, I think, fairly nice articulation. He has a swiveling head due to a hinge to transform. You can look up articulation, arm, full 360, in and out due to transformation, backward hinge for transformation, ball jointed elbow, I guess an ab crunch, waist swivel, ball jointed hips, thigh swivel, basically 90-degree knee, and he's got an ankle tilt. And I guess you could use this joint if you needed to make like a running pose or something. This joint for the combining gimmick. And his tank mode isn't too bad. But really, the 2 biggest things that make this guy bad for me, well, mainly 3 big things, is that this big hollow section in his stomach isn't too bad for me. Not saying that it's good, but I don't really care too much about hollow sections. Obviously, the legs, they're hollow. I don't really care. Hollow bits I couldn't care less about, but mainly it's the fact how short his forearms are, which I can forgive a little bit for how short the tank is. The tank is pretty short, but I don't know. Like if you were to do one of these, put him in one of these poses, it just looks awkward for how short his forearms are compared to his upper arms. But just it looks very unproportionate. And one of the biggest things is that I had to suffer through just to get this guy to the point to where I wanted to do a review on him is, so you see this gun in the show and all the media that I've seen Brawl in, is that this gun has always been static on figures and in the shows. But I don't know. Combiner Wars Brawl just comes right off. And it doesn't even have, like, it's only one peg. And yet, it's not even one peg. It's this, like, slot thing. Which, I don't know, because you can't even, you're left with that gap. And then, that's not really messed up, but I don't get it. And yet, since there's not another pin, it does that. And it acts more like a hinge than just I don't know. That's the biggest thing for me, is that they should have had that static, or put another, like, peg through it. So if you did want to take this off to put in his forearm or his hand, it should have been either one big plug and not this, like, slot thing, or another pin that stick, or another peg or a pin or something to poke through. That's the biggest thing for me, because it doesn't throw this mode off. To me, actually, it does a little bit, because Brawl is supposed to have that. But mainly in tank mode. If you're missing the barrel to a tank, it's not a tank anymore. And, I can forgive, like, an arm missing on a Transformer, but if it's something like that almost directly that's directly to the, like, when I was a kid, if I lost an arm to a figure, or the arm or I got it with its arm broken off or something like that, it's a toy. You can just say he lost it in battle. But if it's something that directly attacks, like, is directly attached to the aesthetics, not an arm, but something like that barrel to the turret from the tank, I just don't know. And it's not like, and it's a softer plastic, but it's not even like it's gonna break off. It's plenty thick right there and through there. Even with its softer plastic, it can flex a little bit. I don't see that piece breaking anytime soon. But I don't know. That's the biggest thing for me. But overall, me personally, I had to find a fifth figure, and he unfortunately got picked. So I don't hate him, but I don't love him. He's not good, but he's not bad. He lands right in the middle, a little more towards bad, but he's not bad. If I were to buy him again, sure. But I'd have to say sure. Sure. Not the greatest, not the worst, but whatever. So now, moving on to my third spot is Transformers: The Last Knight, Megatron. And, obviously it looks decent. But the thing about one-step changers is that we should have learned this from Age of Extinction and RID 2015, is that they're supposed to be fun, simple transformations. So it has to transform, it has to be simple, and it has to be somewhat fun. And that's the same thing, and that has to go for any Transformer that transforms very simply. Like any of the Rescue Bot figures, some of the one-step changers from Age of Extinction, RID 2015. If it's going to be marketed as a simple toy, has to have a transformation, has to transform no matter what, has to be simple, and it has to be fun. But this guy, which he's a one-step changer, but he doesn't land, he transforms. It's somewhat simple, but it's not fun. It only nails really one of them. So first of all, obviously, you just get arms, shoulder joint, which I don't really care. But, really, he has no heels. So, I can drop him, like, he'll fall over. When I bring in Brawl, for example, I know this guy's probably like $10, probably was like $10 more than this guy, but and you will see this from me all the time, a lot of the time, if a figure does not stand. If a figure does not stand and has no heels, it will instantly get a bad rap for me. From me, I mean. Because the thing that set Transformers apart from, like, G.I. Joe's, He-Man, Marvel, any of those little Marvel action figures, is the fact that, other than transforming, you can pick them up and set them down without needing to balance them. Name one action figure that does not transform, like GoBots and, like, Cybots, any, like, toy from, like, Gundam or something like that, that is a robotic mecha. Name one that is not a robot that you, like, Marvel, G.I. Joe, He-Man, that you can just pick up and put down without balancing them. You probably won't. And that's the thing, is that when a figure can't do that, a Transformers figure can't do that, it has initially fallen at one of the biggest requirements, in my opinion, for a Transformer. And the thing of it is that this guy, he's brittle. Well, he's not really brittle, but these wings, look how thin they are. And look how trashy, look at this. This whole armature is super thin. It somewhat looks like a plane. His feet are hanging off. You can see his chest. Not really the chest, but mainly the feet. No way to try to hide them. Even though, and then, it's hard to figure out how to transform him. You know, he gets all seized up and locked up, and this thing would be fine, but the fact that one-step changers is supposed to be simple, transform, and fun, he's not fun to transform, and it's not simple to transform. You have to fiddle around with it and mess with it, then you accidentally might break it. So for what this figure was going for, it's not for me. Number 3. This ramp. So, first of all, number 1, all ramp bots, or the shield guys from Cybertron, from Siege, Kingdom, basically Siege and Earthrise. But this guy in particular, number 1, this is the only one that I have. But the fact that this guy in that stupid, like, axe, pterodactyl thing kept the Netflix release of Earthrise Prime from getting a trailer. This thing does not make up half of Prime's Earthrise trailer, and yet we get one of the trashiest figures to come with him. This thing is not worth almost like this wide piece of plastic, maybe like this thin piece of plastic, but like this tall piece of plastic. This thing does not make up half of Prime's trailer, and he's not even good. All of this is clear plastic, and clear plastic nowadays isn't like it was back in, like, Cybertron or the 2000s, where you could throw it against a wall and it wouldn't do anything. This guy, this whole body piece, clear plastic. Those ball joints, clear plastic. And, so yeah, he's useless, he does not make up for his price, and he is trashy transformation. You just do that, basically. And you say that's a shield or a ramp or whatever. That doesn't look cool. That doesn't look fun. Just a robot with a big plate on the back of him. You know? Not worth what they technically priced him for. Priced this thing for. Okay. Now, number 2. Oops. This guy. Transformers Revenge of the Fallen Payload. Or Long Haul. I only own Payload, but Long Haul is the exact same thing as Payload. Or Payload is the exact same thing as Long Haul. However you want to look at it. And this guy, I do not like. Don't like him. I can understand that the screen model for the movie toy, that the movies were very drastic. And the toy companies could not have made them that clean for a price point of like $30. This guy could not have looked like Long Haul from the movie for like $30. Which I'm fine with. So I can forgive all this like kibbly mess on the back of him. But where this thing shines is mainly Revenge of the Fallen design. Is that I've looked at Voyager Mixmaster. I don't like him. Very complicated for a kid's toy. This thing is not masterpiece. And none of them are masterpiece. 2, I really haven't messed around with Revenge of the Fallen Prime, Leader Prime. I know that people love it. I know that it's complicated and like well thought out transformation, but as a kid toy, I didn't like it. When I had it when I was younger, I didn't like it. And 3, this guy. I didn't have this guy when I was that young, but it took me just till like maybe like a couple months ago to figure out how to transform this guy. That's how I wouldn't say trash, but how dadgum complicated this guy is. He should not be this complicated. Okay, the way that these legs are designed to transform up into the front piece of the cab of his dump truck mode, basically, probably they got some machinist for, like a spaceship, where they need to be into the, 1/millionth or 100 millionth degree. Like, one little mess up, 2 parts won't fit together. And that's the thing with this guy. When you transform these legs, these legs were basically designed by someone who has that much intelligence to need that much room. It needs to be perfect. They are aggravating to transform. I hate to transform them. This guy, he's not going anywhere. Not transforming him unless I decide to do a review on him, but he probably will not be moving. He's staying like this, not transforming his legs. So yeah. This guy's legs are so aggravating. I had to stop a couple of times. I almost felt like legit giving up or chucking this thing at a wall. I did not like it. Those legs are not fun. And also, when you want to be able to transform him, and it's been a couple of years from when you got him, and you really didn't mess with him, these panels back here, they come off. They're on pegs, not even mushroom pegs, just regular old pegs. And those can get lost in your bin, in your the tote that you put your other figures in, toys, whatever, or just straight up lost wherever. And now, obviously, if you wanted to personally just display it, I guess you could take these off and make them look a bit better, but I don't know. But the fact of the matter is that when a piece of the robot comes off, when you want to be able to transform it, when a piece of the robot comes off, and then you can't transform it because the whole front half of it's missing, when that could have been a complete mechanical connection. Like, those could have been fixed on there. But yeah, this guy, I just don't like him. I don't like him. Don't like him at all. But yeah, he takes number 2. And if you, almost forgot. With this guy already being as complicated as he is, the people over at Devil Savior, they made they designed their long haul off of this mold, off of this long haul / payload mold, which already made a bad and complicated mold even worse, headache inducing. Just wanted to mention that. And now to my number 1 worst figure of my collection at this point in time. You should probably know because I released a review on him like a month ago, I think. Can't really remember. May have been like less than that, but I don't know. However long I did. But one of my most recent reviews is Transformers Human Alliance Leadfoot. And obviously I went over the big reasons and really went in depth with why I don't like him, how to transform him, blah, 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 all that sort of stuff on my review. But really, he has a bad-looking robot mode, a bad transformation, can't even stand, kibbly mess, but only a good vehicle mode. And I've seen some videos on, like, the Roadbuster, the Jazz, and the Bumblebee. They're not bad. They're not bad. Obviously, I've never touched them, but for seeing the videos, I can see that they're not too bad. Not stating that they're good by in my opinion, but they don't look too bad. Probably won't buy them, but just saying. But this guy, I don't like him. I don't like him. He can't stand. He looks horrible. Has a trashy transformation. Can barely move his arms because he's a kibbly mess. And I don't know. All I know is this guy just makes me mad. And do you want to know where he sits? He sits at the very top shelf behind a bunch of other guys. So I don't have to see this guy. Because I don't want to see him. He hates me, I hate him. That's a fair trade-off. I don't take him down, he doesn't want to get reviewed or messed around with. So, there it is. There it is. Number 1, worst figure that I have in my collection to this date, and he might not be moving anytime soon. You know, I might get a bad third-party figure. Legacy might come out with a bad figure. Don't know. But at this point in time, he's staying. Payload's number 2. Payload's number 2. Rampbot is 3. Kingdom Megatron. And probably the one that comes out on top and most unscathed is Combiner Wars Brawl. But overall, none of these guys are good. They're the worst ones of my collection. The worst figures of my collection. Of all the ones that I could recommend purchasing is Brawl. And yet, that's only if I'm feeling lucky. So, I guess that's it. I've obviously talked about him. Payload, don't know how much he is. Just, you can buy these guys anywhere. This guy's probably dirt cheap. don't know about Brawl. But if you want any of these guys, go ahead. My opinion is my opinion. Your opinion is your opinion. And, but now, hopefully, I don't have to suffer. But now, hopefully, I can still continue on with some bad figures in the years to come. And now upcoming is favorite and best. So I won't have to suffer through any more bad stuff. So, see you next time.